Hey folks, welcome to Economic Observations. My name is Chris and it is April 24th, a Saturday morning. I hope you're doing well. Today's video is sponsored by the Tanzania School Foundation, a non-profit organization which is near and dear to my heart. The Tanzania School Foundation provides a free quality education to disadvantaged children to end the cycle of poverty. Tanzania School Foundation built and founded a primary school in the Arusha region of Tanzania, and they can use your support. In the description there are links that you can help. There are links that don't involve any money, but your assistance is greatly appreciated. Let's get started. Today we're going to talk about the slow wage growth, jobs, why nobody's taking them, and we're going to talk about how that impacts the housing market. And with the prices of housing today and more houses going on the market, what does that mean for the future of the single-family house? Slow wage growth is a key sign of how far the U.S. economy remains from recovery. We know that we haven't fully recovered from the 2009 crisis. Nominal wage growth since mid-2009 has been low and flat. A weak labor market over the past 10 years has put enormous downward pressure on wages. This is like a race to the bottom, folks. Well, reasons why wages have stagnated over the recent decades is because of low rates of inflation over low rates of unemployment. So they want to keep the narrative going that unemployment is low, right? Even they're saying currently that it's at 6%, but we all know that 18 million people roughly are collecting some sort of government assistance of unemployment, whether it be the PUA or traditional unemployment. They only look at unemployment numbers as those that are not working and looking for work. And we know that many have sent out resumes after resumes all winter, hoping to hear from an employer that they were offered a job or even offered an interview. And you get discouraged after a while. So now they're saying that in March and April the jobs are robust. I was driving down the street and there are many signboards outside of businesses offering jobs. Now, what kind of jobs are they and why aren't people going for them? I have gone down this road over the past month and these signboards are still there. There is no sign of letting up. So why aren't people taking these jobs? Is it because the unemployment is so good that they're better off staying home, or are they front-facing jobs where they cannot do remotely? I believe a lot of Americans want a job working remotely. A lot of people lost good jobs. They lost their careers. They didn't just lose a job. They lost their whole identity. And that becomes a real problem because the jobs that are out there now offer you 10 hours a week, but they want you to be available for 40 hours a week in case the need increases. Now that is just crazy because an employer thinks that, oh yeah, we'll offer you 10 hours this week with the potential of having an additional 30 hours. But what if you have to get another job or another 2 jobs, working 15 hours a week at 3 different jobs? You need the continuity, you need a structure. You can't be at the whim of these companies, and a lot of companies are looking for just labor when they need it. And who can live on that? A friend of mine puts furniture together for Wayfair. You know, they are, you pay, so if you order a bed or a desk or something from Wayfair, it gets delivered to you and you can check out and say you want to include assembly. You include assembly, you pay $80 for that assembly, and they offer the job out on an app for $60, meaning Wayfair keeps $20 of it. And they offer $60 for an hour worth of work. But it's 1 hour. Meaning that the person has to drive there. It could be an hour away from their home. They have to pay for their insurance. They have to pay for their car, their gas, their tools, assemble it, drive home another hour. So for 3 hours for one job, you get paid $60. Then you have to pay tax on that $60. But your real net profit is only about $18 after all said and done. Between your insurance, your car, your gas, your time, and it's one job. Before the pandemic, there were no jobs available. People were scooping them up as fast as they can. And today, there's 39 jobs on the job board. Some of them are far away, though. Nobody's taking those jobs either for $60. And I'm sorry, but if you expect me to drive from my house south of Boston, 16 miles south of Boston, into Boston, to put together a bed for $60, takes an hour to do that, and then drive home in traffic. I have to have insurance on my business. I have to buy the tools. It's not a living wage. People are not accepting these jobs anymore. Uber and Lyft drivers. Now, if you want to Uber in the city, you have to wait sometimes 45 minutes because drivers just don't want to drive anymore. It's becoming a real big problem because wages aren't increasing. Did you know that truckers back in the 80s and 90s earned $1 a mile? Being a trucker was a lucrative job. I mean, it's not an easy job. You have a big responsibility. You're away from your family. You're driving across country. You're not getting much exercise. You're sitting all day long. It's not a job for the weak. Today, a truck driver, they're lucky if they make 45 cents a mile. Many of them make 28 cents a mile. Being a truck driver, the nominal wage has decreased 21%. There's been a decrease of 21%. And in some urban areas, they've declined, the wages have declined as much as half. These are essential workers. They get products to your shelf, and yet we're paying them for 21 cents a mile. There's a real shortage of truck drivers, and that is another part of the supply and demand. The supply and demand is just, it is what it is, right? You can't get product to a place near you because there's no truck drivers to drive them, and companies aren't willing to pay. And if they do want to pay a decent wage, whether it be those irrigation, the painters, D'Angelo's, Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, whatever it is, they're going to have to charge more money for the consumer. It's just a matter of fact. In Massachusetts, the minimum wage is $13.50. So think about the effect of the minimum wage on a hamburger. You can't even get people to work in the restaurant industry anymore. Why should a wait person who was a waiter or waitress there, for the past 10 years, they made a pretty good living, and that was at 100% capacity. Well, that's restaurants that had lines out the door. But why is a wait person who makes $2.31, that's what the employer pays a wait staff, $2.31, and the rest of the money comes from tips? But folks, with a restaurant at 50% capacity, a waitress or a waiter is never going to make what they made before. People say, oh, being a waiter or waitress is a good living. You can do okay. You could make a lot of money. But not when the restaurant's half full. And we still don't know how this is going to play out. There is a lot of virus hesitancy out there. People are still not going to restaurants. They might do takeout, but how does that help the waitress? It helps Grubhub, which really hurts the restaurant. People are not going back to work. And first of all, they have to risk their lives. There's a lot of vaccine hesitancy out there. And why should a waitress or a waiter risk their lives to serve food to someone who could have a heavy load of this virus and not know it? I know restaurants are hurting. A lot of them have massive debt over the past year. And if they're still in business, good for them. But it's going to be really, really hard to find anyone to work there. And then if there's a job, Chase Bank, U.S. Post Office, J.P. Morgan, whatever it may be, they're saying, yeah, we want to hire you and we can guarantee you 10 hours a week. Sure, $20 an hour at 10 hours a week. How can people survive on that? Oh, but wait, the employer says, we could potentially have 40 hours of work for you, so be on standby. So what person supporting their family can be on standby for 30 hours a week, anticipating that you will have more hours to offer them? And when times get tough, they knock you down to 10 hours again. Who can support a family like that? Who can pay their mortgage like that? But these are the jobs that are out there today, folks. It's It's insane. It's insane that companies and corporations can get away with it. And I get it, yeah, they have a lot of debt and they have a lot of taxes to pay and they pay the burden on towns and municipalities all across the country. I understand that. But the only way to get around that is to raise prices and consumers pay for it. So when they say there's no inflation, at what cost? There is inflation because your wages are nominal. You're not earning what you used to be. No one is earning what they used to be. And companies are realizing that, and that's why there's been 700,000 layoffs for 58 weeks. And oh, wait a second, on Thursday they announced that it's been lowered to 544,000, like it's been the best thing in the world. That's still 500,000 people. And 500,000 people that are losing their good career-style identity jobs. Listen, losing your job is losing your identity for a lot of people. It's not people that just have a job and just go to work and get a paycheck and, assembly line people or something. A lot of people have careers. They've made it their whole lives. It's who they are. And just like that, poof, it's gone. It's gone. And on the flip side, with wages decreasing, we see the price of housing just skyrocketing. But I think that's going to change. I looked on Zillow the other day and I noticed that there are a lot more houses in the market. A lot more. And some of the prices have even come down if they've been on the market for 90 days or more. So people realize that they have to take less for their home. Because the number of buyers that qualify for a mortgage today is so much fewer than there were 2 years ago. The lenders are really being particular to who they loan money to. If, of course, they need a mortgage. There's a lot of people who are offering cash. But if you want to buy a house today, you have to have a letter from the mortgage company with your pre-approval. You have to have the 20% cash deposit, and you should have 6 months of living expenses should one of you lose your job who are buying the house. Just because you buy a house doesn't mean you can afford the house. And I really wish that people would think about that. 6 months saving after all the expenses of buying a home. Yeah, and then once you buy the home, you have to buy furniture. And it's not just paying a mortgage and paying your property taxes. And we all know property taxes are going up from time to time too. But wages, they're stagnating. So who's buying the homes? The few people that have really good jobs still. But they have to realize that they are just one pink slip away from that job loss. One pink slip away from losing their job. And I think that more and more corporations are going to go down this route where they can hire someone for 30 hours a week with the anticipation that maybe we'll have 40 hours a week, just so they can avoid offering you the benefits that you deserve. We are going in the wrong direction, and folks, it is a race to the bottom. I feel bad for a lot of people these days. It's just not what it's supposed to be. Anyway, please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I'll talk to you real soon. I really appreciate you for watching and making it this far, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Have a great day.